CFL West Division Showdown.
No question, it's an interesting matchup.
For one thing, we need to dictate tempo.
Football's a lot like life. Sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down.
There's no reason why we shouldn't come out and play the type of football that we're capable of playing.
That's the beauty of the CFL.
This is the third and final meeting of the regular season, and this is the rubber match between the Roughriders and the hometown Stampeders. With the series even at 1, the heat is on. In early July, Henry Burris was on fire in the Stampeders' 53-36 win over the Riders. Last week, Burris and company lost to those same Riders, and tonight will try to halt a 3-game losing streak. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Armitage along with Chris Walby, and welcome to the CFL on CBC. If it's true, Chris, that the running game sets up a pass, then Henry Burris has a great runner in Joffrey Reynolds.
Well, he's not only a great runner, he's a thoroughbred. Now, if you have a thoroughbred, do you leave him in the stables or do you get him on the track and run? And that's something that I don't think the Calgary Stampeders have done enough of. He has only one touchdown, that was against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. More importantly, if you want to look at yards per carry average against Saskatchewan in 2 games, 6.9 yards a carry, and we all know how important first down production is. Run the man.
In the first meeting between these two teams, the Riders' defense was a no-show, but last week they came up huge.
Well, you know what? You got to give credit to Richie Hull, defensive coordinator, because what he does, he says, well, how are we going to stop him? We know that Henry Burris loves to do timing routes, get his rhythm with his receivers. So if we got to do that, my secondary and linebackers have got to get physical with the receivers. That forces Henry to hold on to the football. That forces or allows his defensive line, and more importantly, Fred Perry last week, outstanding game, 3 tackles, 3 sacks, 10 career sacks against these guys. They can get it done there.
A key matchup today, Copeland and Bush.
Well, I love this because a lot of bad blood is being said. And he says that Bush is not as good as everybody thinks. I dropped the ball. I made Bush look good. He says, watch for me today. I'll be all over number 5 of the Roughriders.
We'll have more on that later, but right now let's check Chris Walby's Renegade notes.
Absolutely, Steve. And they're going to start with Saskatchewan. KKMIA. I'm talking about Kenton Keith missing in action. I mean, come on, only averaging 7 carries a game. You have got to make him part of this offense. Kerry Joseph should not be your leading rusher. On defense, Corell Henry. Don't allow Henry Burris to get out of the pocket. Force him to throw the football. Last time they played, 13-yard scamper for a touchdown. You got to keep him in the pocket. On the other side, let's look at Calgary. And offensively, playmakers have to make plays. Pretty simple, isn't it, folks? I'm talking about no mental mistakes, no drop balls, good decisions by Henry Burris on the football field. And on defense, Clark really is Superman, and I'm talking about Brian Clark. He is the glue that holds this defense together. He makes all the defensive checks. 113 game consecutive streak snap when he got hurt back 2 games ago, hamstring. He's back. Look for that defense to play tough today.
A mixed bag weather-wise in the past 48 hours in Calgary, but absolutely perfect tonight. Blue skies, very little wind. Well, Danny Barrett and the Riders are 3-7 in their last 10 meetings of McMahon, but feel they have momentum coming to Calgary this time around following their big 19-9 win last weekend over the Stamps. Tom Higgins goes into every game looking for a win. He says that any coach who doesn't should be fired, but his club has lost 3 in a row, this after starting 3-1, and this is basically the same Calgary team that finished last year winning 7 of 8. This one is underway at McMahon. Dorsey on the return. Crosses the 35, gets out to about 37-yard line, so pretty good field position for Kerry Joseph and the Riders.
Kerry Joseph, take a look at the numbers so far. Nice ratio of touchdown interceptions, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Very important, especially when you're in enemy territory, hostile crowd here, even though you got some backing of Rough Rider fans, to get this offense gelling early.
They spot the ball at the 38-yard line. So Joseph and company begin 1st and 10. Opening play of this first quarter. Joseph to Kenton Keith, and Keith crosses the 40-yard line.
A nice job of just utilizing his backup, Kenton Keith. Take a look at that offensive backfield. Watch Chris Zarkin today. I think he's got to be a factor, not only lead blocking, but maybe catching a couple screen passes. The receiving crew, obviously Andy Fantu is the #1 draft choice, getting a second start today. Watch for him to do some things, and a good offensive line that I think Kerry Joseph is starting to understand. I don't have to take off with it. I can sit back there and wait for receivers to come open.
A pickup of 2 on that last play. 2nd and 8 from the 40. Out of the shotgun, Kerry Joseph. And he's hit. The ball is loose. Who gets it? Calgary ball. Abdullah.
Well, Abdullah with the hit, but I believe it was Napastuk with the recovery, and you see Kerry Joseph is still down. They faked the blitz. They lined up 3 linebackers inside and dropped. And for whatever reason, the right side of that offensive line did not fan block out. So you can see the guys are dropping out, and nobody picks up the outside guy. Jim Mikowski tries to slide out there, but by that time it's too late. The contact is made. The ball is jarred loose. You'll see Raheem Abdullah using him as a speed bump. And the pass comes up with the first opportunity or turnover for the Stampeders.
And that was a birthday present to himself. He's celebrating his 32nd. Wanted us to say hi to his mom and dad, Sandra and Gary, in North Battleford, Saskatchewan. And it looks as if Crandall is going to come into this one a lot earlier than anybody expected.
Well, you know, and that's why when you have your first and second string quarterback, they split time with the first string offense in case of situations like this. We all know about the toughness of Kerry Joseph. He can take a hit. He's like a running back at the quarterback position. And you see he's getting worked on by the physical therapist there, and we want to make sure everything's okay with him. We're checking him, making sure he might just be a little bit knocked out, a little woozy, because he got blindsided, the helmet right in that ear hole, Steve.
Well, that brings up the old debate, helmet to helmet.
Well, you know,
not in this case.
Well, you know what? I think the ones that are looking at helmet to helmet is when you go right at the face, helmet to front on. From the side, it's very tough. And we don't want to get into that whole dilemma or the debate about the helmet to helmet, because you know quarterbacks sometimes try to duck under would-be tacklers. I think it was just a great play right there. Good scheme by defensive coordinator Denny Crehan to fool the offensive line.
So far this year, they've donated $6,000.
So it looks as if Marcus Crandall will come into the game as the quarterback for the Riders earlier than expected.
The CFL on CBC.
Kerry Joseph didn't walk off the field.
Kerry Joseph shaken up on the first series for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and on the play, Calgary jumped on the loose ball, so they have possession. 1st and 10 from the Riders' 34-yard line. Henry Burris getting the start at quarterback. Reynolds, good fake. Burris still has it, and he fires complete. Kenyon Rambo as Kerry Joseph still getting assistance on the bench.
Well, I think you have to look. There's 3 linebackers right in here, fellas. Now watch as we run this play. They're going to drop out. Now as they drop out, the line is all sliding. Now freeze here, boys. They're all blocking down. Everybody's blocking down. But look at Jason French. He's got to pick up the outside guy. That's Abdullah. He just lets him go. You can't do that. You got to get a help shot on him. That would have protected his quarterback.
1st and 10, Stampeders from the Riders' 19. No fake that time on the part of Burris. He gave it to Reynolds, and Reynolds goes down inside the 20-yard line. Let's check the Calgary offense.
Well, it's an offense that leads the league in a lot of categories except touchdowns. And Henry Burris, a lot of pressure on him, but I think he's got to utilize the man. He just handed the ball off there, Reynolds. Good receiving crew. Thurman with the big game last time they won against Saskatchewan. Opening drive, 73-yard touchdown. And an offensive line that gave up 5 sacks last week.
Pick up a 5 on that last play. It's 2nd and 5 for the Stamps from the 14. Burris out of the shotgun. Has time, swings it to the right side, and complete to Cates. Cates is knocked out of bounds inside the 10.
That's a nice job again of mixing it up, and the secondary of the Roughriders doing a nice job and forcing Henry Burris to look to his outlet pass, and that is Wes Cates, who's just going to slide. He's looking down, he's looking inside, sees the pressure, knows he's got it back, sliding out to the flats. Wes Cates gets him the football, picks up something positive. 2 yards is better than a loss.
And they're that much shy of a first down.
There will be a measurement. Could be 3rd and short Calgary.
3rd and inches. A few inches.
But very indicative of the way that the Stampeders came out in their victory against Saskatchewan in Mosaic Field and Taylor Field in Regina.
This is what Tom Higgins wanted from his offense. An early start, a productive start, especially in the red zone or inside the 25-yard line. 3rd and inches. Flag goes down. Burris keeps it himself.
And most of the time that's just going to be the encroachment of the defense on that 1-yard line, neutral zone, and that's exactly what they're going to call it. The defender's trying to get a jump on that snap count, trying to crouch the line or the ball as tight as possible, not give up that inch, but Calgary will take the first down the easy way.
Saskatchewan number 98. Half the distance to the goal line, first down.
Big Nate Davis to call, the interior, big 6'5", 335 defensive tackle, number 98.
That call from the referee today, Murray Clark. It is 1st and goal to go. Stampeders from the 5. Good fake again. Touchdown, Stampeders. David Allen.
Well, Steve, they dressed 4 running backs because they felt that they could get 6 receivers set with 2 running backs in the backfield and get a matchup. They love David Allen. David Allen was hurt the first game of the season. He's back from the knee injury and makes an immediate impact as he just releases out of the backfield and basically runs away from the cover man. The cover man has no chance, and that's Reggie Hunt, who doesn't see him, and by the time he does recognize where the ball is going, it's just too late.
Point after is good, and the Stampeders have an early 7-0 lead. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary. You're watching the CFL on CBC. Calgary doing something they couldn't do last week against the Riders, scoring a touchdown.
Well, just sliding a guy out, and he's just going to slide out in the flat, and they're looking to get a matchup, and they get exactly that. As you see David Allen at the bottom, and as he's running right there, he just runs away from the cover man, Reggie Hunt, the short side linebacker, mismatch, gets separation, and the rest is history.
Interesting grouping on the kickoff following the touchdown as Burris talks to offensive coordinator Steve Barato, bunching on the left and the right. Dorsey still on his feet. Dorsey to the 40-yard line. Let's go down to Kahari Jones on the sidelines. Kahari?
Guys, Kerry Joseph was having his neck and his shoulder worked on the sideline. It looked like he was going to be out of the game, but as you can see, he's going back into the game now. Both the doctor and the trainers were looking at it, and he's good to go. Back to you guys.
Well, we talked about his toughness. There's an example of that. He gets blindsided by Abdullah. A lot of quarterbacks would not be playing the rest of this football game. He's back in there at very next series.
Good field position once again for Joseph and the Riders. 1st and 10 from the 40. Down by a touchdown. Keith got some room on the outside. Crosses the 50. Still on his feet. Into Calgary territory. Knocked out of play at about the 46-yard line.
Well, you know, and you can see his teammates are all excited. And why is because we talked about this in the pregame. Kenton Keith has been a non-factor in this offense. They've got to utilize him. Nice job at the point of attack, sealing the corner. The right tackle, they allow him to bounce to the outside, and then he just runs away from Trae Young, the safety. Get 28 involved in your offense.
In his last 4 games versus the Stamps, 27, 37, 30, and 51 yards for Kenton Keith. Joseph buys a little time with the play action and completes to French.
Well, you run the ball, and that allows you to run play action. That freezes the linebacker and allows your receivers to come open. You take a look at the Stampeders defense in the past with a big fumble recovery on that first series. Obviously, his partner Abdullah with the hit. A good linebacking crew with Brian Clark back at that middle linebacker position. That'll help that unit. And a secondary that they like, but they wanted to be a little bit more aggressive and take advantage of situations, namely when they have a chance to come up with an interception, Steve.
1st and 10 Riders. Good second effort from Kenton Keith that time. Gets his way down to the 30-yard line.
Well, you have to get him involved because he wants to feel like he's contributing. And if you're not utilizing him, I think he goes into a bit of a funk where he really doesn't feel like he's going to do anything, and that affects his play. Take a look at his yards per carry average. I mean, 2003, 7, 6.16. This year at 5.1. That's a respectable average, but the fact is they're only averaging him 7 carries a game. That's something that has to change.
Below his average on that last carry, only 3 yards, 2nd and 7 for the Riders from Calgary 30-yard line. Joseph from the shotgun. Completes it to French, and French took a hit. The moment that ball hit his hands, Young was there to greet him. What a greeting.
Well, and he had to deliver the ball, and I'm talking about Kerry Joseph, because they brought the blitz again, the Stampeders did, and they leveled Kerry Joseph once again. He's just going to draw it back. He feels it coming from the right side again. He's got to get rid of that football quickly. French is sitting there waiting for the ball, and Trae Young times that perfectly. But you got to give credit to French for hanging on to the football.
Well, no gamble on the part of Danny Barrett and the Riders on this one. They're going for the safe 3 points with the field goal attempt from Luka Kanji. Good on 11 of 12 so far this season, well within his range. This will come from 32. Little movement at the line. Indication is it's a good one. So if there's no penalty on the play, the Riders put 3 points on the board. They trail by 4. A big welcome to all our viewers, wherever you're watching today, especially those in the United States and around the world. If you're seeing the CFL for the first time on CBC, you should be in for a good one today. The Riders putting 3 points on the board, but the Stampeders lead 7-3, opening quarter, 8:46 to play. Ruffin at the 20. He's got room. One man to beat, and he couldn't. He's tripped up at the 41-yard line. Well, I thought there was movement on that last play.
Well, but Saskatchewan was trying to field goal. I want everyone, just take a look at this. Watch these offensive linemen. They do what's called a shift down. They're going to snap their hands down just before the ball is snapped and try to draw, and they actually got movement. Very fortunate, because that should have been a penalty and a first down, and Saskatchewan could have maybe potentially got a touchdown, Steve.
The officials didn't see it, didn't call it, and the field goal stands. This is Reynolds. Just shy at the midfield stripe. Morgan there to make the tackle for the Riders.
Well, the man they call the Grim Reaper on the Saskatchewan defense, Reggie Hunt, found out just how strong Joffrey Reynolds is as he turns the corner and just stiff arms him. Breaks outside, great vision. Look at that strength right there. Just shuns him off, keeps going, and lowers the shoulder right at the end. Powerful, powerful running back.
The best in the CFL right now. Look at those 100-yard plus games for Joffrey Reynolds. From the 55, 1st and 10. Burris completes, finding Nick Lewis, his first reception of the game.
Well, I don't care what kind of offense you're running. If you're not running the football, you can't run play action. Calgary, nice job of doing that right there. Nick Lewis going back to the huddle. Take a look at the Saskatchewan defensive line. Epps getting a second start in place of Driniak. Fred Perry, 3 sacks last week. McCullough doing a good job in the middle. Rontarius Robinson replacing Mitchell at the linebacker. And a guy they talked all about, David Bush. Copeland says, I'm going to teach him today.
They only need a yard to keep the drive alive, and they'll get that.
But it's a smart job, Steve, of mixing the plays up and getting Reynolds involved early. And then when they play action, it freezes the linebackers and it doesn't allow them to spread out. That allows them to find holes in that defense.
How productive has Hank been the last 3 seasons? 10,330 yards. Copeland, his first reception.
First throws complete again.
Make that Lewis.
A little quick action on the play action. Pulling the ball back, getting it out to Nick Lewis. Omar Morgan, really a great job of reacting to the football once the throw is made to come up there and limit that gain.
2nd and 6, Calgary.
Pick up a 4.
Little stutter step, little flat off. Corner out.
2nd and 6 from the 41. Burris. Incomplete. He was looking for Lewis again. And Lewis couldn't take that extra step to come back to the ball. He'd already committed. And it's incomplete.
Well, incomplete, but I think the ball got away from Henry, and I think the ball was a little low. He's not happy with that throw. He had the right read. He had Copeland, but he got it down a little bit more where Copeland could not come back to the football. Tight coverage by Omar Morgan on the play, but I believe if that ball was a little higher, it would have been a reception.
I talked to Henry about the new ball, and he said he didn't like it because the ball dove on him, and that may have happened there in that pass attempt to Lewis. Burkdale is on to punt, averaging 45.9 yards per punt. He gets a good one away. Taken by Dorsey. Dorsey gets out to the 10-yard line. So when we come back, the Riders will have the ball, trailing by 4, 7-3. They'd like to face the Owls with a win in their back pocket. It's the Riders, 1st and 10 from their own 11. Joseph, quick pass to Jason Armstead. He couldn't hang on.
And those are always dangerous passes, Steve, because remember, if the ball goes, it's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, it is a live ball. Therefore, when you throw that ball, you want to be at least a yard ahead of the line of scrimmage. So if it falls incomplete, it is not live and cannot be picked up by the defense. Just going to be a quick hitter out here, trying to get behind a wall of blockers. It looks like he's got room to run if he makes that catch.
2nd and 10 from the 11. Joseph from the shotgun. Completes it that time to Matt Dominguez. And Dominguez will have the first down.
Matt Dominguez, who's really played well. You can see coming back from that serious knee injury. I believe every week getting stronger and more confident. Really had some great games. And he's just running down the middle, and he's just going to cut back out. Nice job of finding the opening. Nice job by the offensive line to just give Kerry Joseph a little time to throw that. See the 2 games versus Calgary. 15 catches, 215 yards, a touchdown.
Huge touchdown reception last week in the Riders' 19-9 win. Little play action there from Joseph. Under heat, gets the pass away, and in and out of the arms of Grant. Grant got a piece of it, but couldn't hang on. Brian Clark doing a good job for the Stamps in getting to Joseph on that play.
Well, Brian Clark coming on the blitz from the weak side, the backside, if you would, just coming around the corner there trying to pick him up, and Joseph sees him at the last second, but look at the strength. He knows he's going down, still has enough savvy to get that ball and almost completes it to, as he said, to Corey Grant.
Brian Clark, having missed a couple of games with a hamstring, said he really put the ham to a test this past week in practice. He feels great. Joseph from the shotgun, dumps it off to the right side to Kenton Keith. Keith up to around the 33-yard line before he's dropped. Flag on the play.
Flag on the play, and I believe they're going to call Brian Clark, trying to time that blitz right in the middle of that Saskatchewan offensive line and just jumped the gun. You see head coach Tom Higgins and talked about the fact that penalties and
Offside.
missed opportunities
Calgary
really hurting this
number
team.
48. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So they'll do it over again. 2nd and 5 from the 31 for the Riders. They trail by 4, 7-3. 3:27 remaining to play. Opening quarter on a beautiful afternoon in this part of southern Alberta. From the shotgun, Gary Joseph puts it up, looking for Dominguez. He got a piece of it, but he couldn't hang on. Joseph throwing into coverage, but Dominguez is big enough and can jump high enough that he can often beat the coverage.
Well, Kobe Reinhardt, number 3, is 5'11". Dominguez is 6'2", so there definitely is a height advantage. He tries to time the jump. He gets his hands initially on it. You see Trey Young, the safety, trying to give a little support on the backside in that safety position, a little late.
Luka Kanji on to punt for the Riders. To Allen at the 41. Allen comes up just shy of the 50-yard line. So Henry Burris will have good field position when we come back. Welcome back to Calgary. 1st and 10, Stampeders. And Burris looking for Copeland. Henry Burris playing with confidence despite the last 3 games.
I'm still confident. I'm focusing more on what I can do to help our team out, as far as in reads, being accurate with my passes, and just making good decisions. And I told myself this year I'm being on a diet on interceptions, and I know I'm at, I think, 6 right now. And the thing is, I don't want to go any higher than that. But nevertheless, I'm still going to come out and be aggressive.
2nd and 10 for Burris. He's under pressure. They're going to take him down. Perry leading the way for the Riders, a big sack.
Well, we talked about Fred Perry, and he loves to play the Stampeders. He's bitter because he said in 2004 they cut him. He didn't fit into Denny Crehan's 3-4 defense. So he says every time he gets a chance to play against the Stampeders, he sees red even though he's playing red. And once again, even though the receivers are wide open, good pressure initially by Eddie Davis, and mopped up by 41, Fred Perry with his 4th sack in 2 games.
Riders as a team, 10 sacks in the last 2, make that 11, including today. Not a great punt from Burt Dales, well below his average. This is Dorsey. Dorsey reversing and losing yards. Knocked back inside the 25-yard line by Spencer. Gary Jones on the sidelines. What have you got, Gary?
Guys, I talked to Kerry Joseph just before he got onto the field last time, and he said he had never been hit harder than he had when he was down on the ground, and that he couldn't feel his arm for a little bit. But it came back. The feeling came back. As you can see, he's throwing the ball well, and he's fine now. Back to you guys.
Well, a stinger or a burner early in the game, and it looked as if he would have to leave and Marcus Crandall would come on. But Joseph is back. Pitches to Dorsey. Dorsey, no running room to the right side.
Yeah, Demetrius Maxey, 91, the 13-year veteran. Toronto, in the States a few years with Baltimore, with Calgary now, still making his presence felt. Every year they bring in guys to challenge for his spot, saying, Demetrius, I think you get a little long in the tooth. And every year when the starting lineup's announced, number 91 is there.
No gain on the last play, 2nd and 10. Riders from their own 27. Joseph downfield, and it's complete to Jason Armstead. Couldn't hang on.
Well, once again, going after Kobe Reinhardt, taking the wide receiver, Jason Armstead this time, running him straight down the field and curling him or slanting him into the middle of the football field. Ball's delivered. He leaves his feet just at the last second to try and make a circus catch, but look at the hand come in there. You see the hand, the right hand of Reinhardt knocking that ball loose. That's a great job by the cornerback of the Stampeders.
Terrific timing on the part of the defender. Luka Kanji goes off the side of his foot. A flag is down.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. There's a flag down, but the previous punt, Steve, by Kanji was down the middle of the football field, and you're not going to win football games, and you do not want to kick down the middle of the field because that allows the returner both options to go wherever he wants to return that ball. You want to corner kick him or kick it to the sideline. This time they do it, and he tries to angle it, and he puts it off the side of his foot, but very fortunate there could be a penalty against the Stampeders.
Holding. Calgary 39. That penalty is declined. Holding. Calgary number 45. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, once again, we talked about penalties. Higgins says these are unforgivable. You know what? We understand you're going to drop a ball. We want that corrected as well. But some mental mistakes. When you're on special teams, that's how you stay on a football club a lot of times. You're not contributing on the main defense or main offense, but you can't do that.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Stampeders from the 53-yard line. Burris.
And for Joffrey
Reynolds,
Number 21.
Hunt, and McCullough combining to stop the big running back.
Reggie Hunt leading the
Well, the University of Houston product, 3rd year here with Calgary, has just that 2nd and 3rd effort, the determination, the spin. The new training regime this year, Steve, where he started to push a suburban truck around the neighborhood to get stronger, and I think it's paying off.
I think it's working. Just signed a new contract with the Stampeders. Loves it here in Calgary and has decided to stay, and the Stamps are happy. 2nd and 6, Calgary. Burris completes to Lewis, and Lewis will be close to the first down.
Close to first down yardage before he's cut down by
Stampeders up by 4, 7-3 at the end of the quarter. Stampeders converting an early turnover and have a 7-3 lead on the Riders.
One of the biggest thing you got to remember is the first turnover as we look right here, and that was the great hit by Raheem Abdullah and recovered by Napasnik, but Saskatchewan's back in there. And how about the newcomer, John Comiskey at the center? What a great job he does. Now, he's right here, fellas. Now, watch him go out here and pick up the blitzing linebacker. This is just great. This is center, snapping the ball. Now he's going to get all the way out to the wide side, and that allows Burris to throw that ball.
1st and 10 for the Stampeders from the Riders 47. Little play action, but they leave it in the capable hands of Reynolds.
Brought down by Dwayne Epps, getting his 2nd start in that backside or short side defensive end spot. But it's nothing fancy. It's just 6 yards deep. Let him find a hole. You see, look at now, Dwayne Epps is a big boy. He's trying to bring him down, but he's still, again, we've talked about this time and time again, the power in the legs of Joffrey Reynolds.
A pickup of 7. 2nd and 3, Calgary from the Riders 40. Burris over the middle. Completes to Thurman, his first catch of the afternoon.
Well, the Stampeders taking a page out of the BC Lions playbook with a bit of a bunch formation, and basically they're just on the side, left side outside your screen, and they just release all different directions. The reason it wasn't so successful is because Saskatchewan was playing zone and just waiting for someone to come in their area.
Burris 7 for 9 for 48 yards. 1st and 10 from the Riders 35. Reynolds nowhere to go that time. Runs into the arms of Davis.
Well, that might be the one man on the field that Joffrey Reynolds can't run over. Big Nate Davis is a house in the middle, usually double teamed, doesn't get a lot of the credit. His stats are not as spectacular as Fred Perry, for instance, right now, but EE is a force in the middle. And anytime you're offensive scheming against Saskatchewan's defense, you got to make sure you protect against number 98.
2nd and 10 Calgary from the 35. On the shotgun, in reverse. He completes to Elijah Thurman. And he'll have the first down.
Well, Elijah Thurman gets Omar Morgan backpedaling. This play takes time to develop, but because of the respect that Morgan has for Thurman's speed, he is just going to sit back, and then when he breaks off, it comes back to the football. He has already got the separation to make that catch.
1st and 10 for the Stampeders from the Riders 21. Stamps are in the dreaded red zone. Burris with time. But he couldn't complete it. He was looking for Thurman again. Talked about the Stampeders' problems in the red zone. Here's their head coach, Tom Higgins.
We've been hurting ourselves. We have been making some mental mistakes. We've been taking some critical penalties, and we also haven't been catching the ball and executing. The moment that we start to do that, we won't have a special teams player of the month in Sandro DeAngelis because he'll have to kick extra points.
Well, once again, the Stampeders are in the red zone. 2nd and 10 from the 21. Burris with time, has a man open. And it's knocked loose. Rambo had it. His helmet went flying. Curry was there with a terrific tackle that jarred the ball loose because Rambo was wide open.
He was open. He had the ball. He was securing the football. But an absolutely great hit by Armando Curry, who surprisingly enough has the nickname Muffin, to dislodge that ball from Rambo. And again, as you say, in the red zone, potentially put some touchdowns on it. Once again, they got to settle for the toe of DeAngelis.
Sandro DeAngelis from the 29. And it's wide. DeAngelis is wide. So the Stamps pick up a single point and lead 8-3. The Stampeders' woes in the red zone continue. The first miss from inside the 40 for their place kicker, Sandro DeAngelis.
Well, we take a look at the hold, and it's set nice. Ball stripes are obviously pointed forward. This is just simply a hook. He just simply hooked it. You can tell by the reaction right now, not happy with himself. Chip shot for DeAngelis normally.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Riders from the 35-yard line. Keith and Dorsey lining up in the backfield. But it's Joseph looking deep. He had a man open. Dominguez had space between himself and the defenders, but the ball was overthrown. Don't forget the warrior of the game. We want you to log on to cbc.ca/CFL in the second half to vote for the player who you think showed the heart and determination of a warrior. And we'll show you the winner in our post-game show. Early votes, perhaps, to that man, Kerry Joseph?
Absolutely. Brian Clark, maybe, for coming back. I mean, we know the hamstring. He says 100%. I don't know if it is, but he's making his impact felt today.
2nd and 10 Riders from their own 35. Early motion at the line. Flags are down. Joseph under pressure, and he just fires it away. Great pressure from Lysak that time.
Yeah, they're going to call that grounding as well. Obviously, Kerry Joseph not able to tell as he drops back that Calgary was indeed offside. They're going to call ground the ball on. Well, you can't have offside on both. Saskatchewan I believe grounded, but it looked like to me that Calgary jumped offside. I'm very surprised recalling the Saskatchewan offense for maybe one of the interior linemen jumped.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 2. That penalty is declined. Intentional grounding. Saskatchewan number 4. The ball is dead where the pass was thrown. Third down.
I'm shocked by that call. Take a look right here. I mean, they're all offside. I mean, what are you looking at? I saw it up here in the booth. I said, well, there's an easy play. It's a free play. It's probably led to why Kerry Joseph decided to just get rid of the football.
So a double whammy against the Riders, putting them in a punting situation. Luka Kanji has not been punting well so far in this game. The Riders need a big one here. Takes a Rider bounce. Allen is there to scoop it up. So when Henry Burris and the Stamps offense go to work, once again, they'll have good field position, leading 8-3. At McMahon Stadium, but still enough to get inside the head of a punter or a kicker.
Where did he call Kanji, who has the worst punting average in the CFL, had 2 bad kicks with the win. His best kick of the afternoon was into the win.
Another good start for the Stampeders in terms of field position. 1st and 10 from their own 48. Play action in and out of the arms of the intended receiver, and was it picked off? They were looking for Thurman. Well, do the Riders have it?
It'll be interesting. He saw the linebacker. He's going to call no. He's going to say bobbled it. And when he went down, initially I think he did have it. Reggie Hunt thought he had one there, but he just could not grasp it and secure the ball. Just bounces up in the air, and as it bounces in the air, you can see him fumbling with it, but you can see, no, it's a good call by the official. Reggie Hunt trying to kind of hope that the official couldn't see it in that pile of humanity.
I think we're going to get a challenge, are we not?
Well, remember, you don't lose anything by your first challenge anyway, but there's the yellow flag thrown out.
And Danny Barrett is 0-2 in the challenge department so far this season.
I got a feeling he's going to be 0-3, but.
So Murray Clark will come over to the sidelines and go
Saskatchewan
under
is
the
challenging the ruling on the field that the pass is incomplete.
That definitely looked to us on the replays that we saw as it goes off. And you can see right in the middle, there he is. And it looks like it does indeed hit the ground. I don't know if he got his bottom hand underneath the ball. Take another look at it. Can't really tell from this angle. But there you see, hold it, freeze it there, guys. Freeze it there, back it up one step, guys. Take a look, freeze right there. Take a look, fellas, there's the ball, it's on the ground.
Well, Tommy Condell is up in the booth for the Riders. He must have seen something that he thought was an interception.
Well, you know what happens now, we didn't look at that, we've looked at the ball. The other aspect was he down before the ball came loose.
After review, the ball hit the ground, the pass is incomplete. The ruling on the field stands, 2nd down.
Good call. The correct call.
The correct call, absolutely.
So Danny Barrett now 0-3 in the challenge department so far this season.
That's Bobby's job. He knows he's on replay.
So it's 2nd and 10 for the Stampeders from the 48-yard line. They lead 8-3. Burris rolling out, man wide open. Marcus Howell. Nobody within yards.
Well, the guy that Tom Higgins said is the unsung hero of the receiver group, one of the hardest workers, whether it's practice or game, always going 100 miles an hour. And we talked about Thurman, Anderson, all the great receivers that Calgary has, but you can never forget 888. And he just catches Saskatchewan sitting in the deep zone, finds a hole, and Henry Burris, to his credit, comes to a guy who actually catches the football.
A gain of 21. 1st and 10 Stampeders, and the Riders 41. From the shotgun, Henry Burris. Joffrey Reynolds down inside the 34, 35-yard line. Robinson there to bring him down.
But again, great first down production by Joffrey Reynolds.
Make it 2nd and 6.
The key to stopping the Stampeders, according to the Riders, stop Reynolds.
You want to try to make them one-dimensional. That's the way take away Mr. Reynolds as far as running the ball. You know, they ran the ball very effective against us in the first half last week. They didn't run the ball as much as in the second half. And you know, if we're able to do that, then we put a lot of pressure, make Henry make a lot of plays.
Easier said than done, and there was a classic example. Reynolds again on the carry.
Well, he ran to the right with success. He comes to the short side of the left this time. Well, watch him break tackles. They got him. There's McCullough, 45, tries to get a sleeve on him. Eddie Davis tries to take him low. He just runs through the tackle, picks up a first down.
And once again, the Stampeders are inside the 25-yard line. That's resulted in 1 touchdown and a missed field goal so far. Burris finds Copeland on the slant in. Bush is there to make the tackle, and that was the matchup we talked about before this game, Copeland and Bush.
Well, it was a quick hit and play just over the middle. Good completion to Copeland. Even Bush right there bringing him down, but not before a 7-yard gain.
So 7:25 to play till halftime. 2nd and 3 Stampeders from the Riders 13. Burris from the shotgun. Back snap and scooped up by Burris under pressure. Burris buys some time, has a little bit of room, and he goes inside the 10-yard line.
A great effort and decision-making shown by Henry Burris not to force the situation. He's been criticized for this in the past, that he'll get out here and when he's scrambling, he'll force a situation. This time he decides, I've got to do it all myself. Gonna tuck the ball, and I love the effort at the end, the dive, to pick up that first down. We do have a Rough Rider down in the field.
It's McCullough who's getting attention from the Riders training staff.
Well, they do have Kitwana Jones as a backup who really has made his presence felt every time he's on the football field. As a matter of fact, in part-time duty, Kitwana Jones has 5 quarterback sacks.
That's not bad for a part-timer.
Not bad, but you know what? The biggest thing is you don't want to, they've really liked the way that Mike McCullough has developed. The St. Francis Xavier grad has really done a nice job in that middle. And I think he hurt himself as he made an attempt to grab Henry Burris as he ran around the corner.
Burris showing his great athleticism.
You see him right there. He's just trying to grab the jersey, and he goes down hard on the left shoulder, gets up, and you see him. No, it might be a hip. Probably a hip if I was a betting man.
The field turf here at McMahon Stadium is the Cadillac of field turfs. Walking on it yesterday and today, it is beautiful. They spent an extra $200,000 to put extra padding underneath, and their injuries are way down. Right now, they lead 8-3, 7:05 to play, second quarter. Yet again, Saturday at 3:30, McCullough came off obviously in pain. The Stampeders are first and goal to go from the Riders 9. Burris from the shotgun, but the whistles go, flags down.
Well, time count violation. Henry Burris looking at that defense, taking his time getting that snap. Now push him back. First
Illegal procedure.
15.
Calgary number 50. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, they're going to call Jay McNeil, the left guard. That's who they're calling there for the legal procedure, and yeah, it's a good call. Hats off to the official. I thought it was a time count.
From the 14, first down over again. Burris, touchdown!
And Nick Lewis with his 3rd touchdown of the season. And this receiving crew is being quiet of late. That is the first touchdown pass by Henry Burris in the last 3 games. That's a nice monkey to have off his back. 3 games counting today.
And the point after from DeAngelis is good, as the Stampeders up their margin on the Riders to 15-3 with 6:19 to play in the 2nd quarter.
Well, just a nice job of running a slam pattern. Just going to work it in. They're just going to come across the middle here. And as he's coming in, the halfback is sitting too far off. He's got to get up there. Got to protect the middle of the football field. It's a closer angle. You can see by the time he's making his break, Eddie Davis is already in a chase position. That's pretty much an easy pitch and catch for Burris and Lewis.
Troubles inside the 25-yard line, not today. 2 touchdowns and a single point off a missed field goal. So the Stampeders cashing in where their head coach Tom Higgins felt they needed the biggest improvement.
And you know, I got to correct myself as well. I forgot all about the David Allen touchdown on the first series.
(15-3) favor the Stampeders in the rubber match against the Riders. Dorsey at his 5. Going backwards. Flag is down. And Dorsey is dropped at the 2-yard line by Marcus Howell.
Well, this penalty is going to go against Saskatchewan, but it's only going to be marked about half the distance to the goal line, so they're going to start on their 1 to 2 yard line. Robin Nikiasen with a clipping penalty, number 20 of the Roughriders. That often happens when your returner is struggling to find a seam, trying to do everything he possibly can to find an opening.
Illegal block. Saskatchewan number 20. Penalties declined. First down.
That's my jump, right?
So Kerry Joseph and the Riders have dug themselves a hole. They're 1st and 10 from their own 3-yard line.
Now you saw the clip, and it's again one of those new rules, Steve, where they say the only 2 planes, front and back, excuse me.
Joseph from the shotgun. He'll take the snap into the end zone. Joseph looking deep down the right side. He was hoping Dominguez could break the coverage from Reinhardt, but Reinhardt was with him step for step.
Well, what surprises me is the Saskatchewan offense came out and started to utilize Kenton Keith. That opening the running game up. And now they've kind of abandoned Keith, much like they have done all season. And Kerry Joseph is content to try and go downfield to receivers. And play action will not work if you're not running the football. Take a look at Kerry Joseph's number right now, 4 for 10, 35 yards. That's not what you want to have when you're in the 2nd quarter of any football game.
2nd and 10. Again, Joseph from the shotgun. He's in the end zone. That time he completes it to Dominguez.
Well, that's a nice job of adjusting to the ball in the air by Matt Dominguez, as he got to turn his body all the way around to find that ball.
And he did a great job of getting to the first down.
Well, Kerry Joseph trying to go to his clutch receiver, Matt Dominguez, in tight coverage by Jermaine Chapman. Dominguez gets him out from under the shadows of their goalpost with a fresh set of downs.
Riders now 1st and 10 from their own 14. They trail 15-3. Twin backs, Dorsey and Keith. French with the reception from Joseph up to the 21. Reinhardt there to make the tackle.
Well, this is all just quick read. As Kerry Joseph is looking at the defense and making his decision instantaneously where he wants to go with the football, and it's all predicated on what he sees from the Stampeders. Split backs. He's got Keith and Dorsey. Takes the snap and delivers a quick pitch to Jason French.
A pickup of 6, 2nd and 4 from the 21. This time they give to Kenton Keith, and he gets up to around the 26, 27 yard line, and that should pick up the first down. It does.
And it's a change of pace. If you want to make your linebackers on the defense respect what you're doing, you have got to run the football. If not, the linebackers are just going to go into this zone drop all the time and stuff all your throwing lanes. You run the ball, Steve, they got to come up and respect it. That allows you to find openings behind the linebackers and in front of the secondary.
From the 29, Riders 1st and 10. No running room that time. Abdullah saw to that.
Well, Raheem Abdullah is a force at that defensive end spot. Strong, 6'5", 280 pounds. He had that devastating first series hit on Kerry Joseph, and he's just in the middle right here. And watch him fight off the block and come back and bring down Ken Keith with help from fellow linebacker George White.
A loss of 1 on the play. Make it 2nd and 11 from the Riders 28. Joseph from the shotgun. Fakes. Delivers to Armstead. And he had nowhere to go. He was surrounded by red shirts. 15-3 the score. Favor Calgary. 2:35 to play. 2nd quarter here at McMahon. At the punt. Punts of 38, 20, and 34 yards so far in this one at McMahon. Long count. And he almost had it blocked. Not a great punt again for Kanji. The flag is down.
Remember, they changed the rule now. On the ball that bounces, you can go in there, and as long as you're not trying to hurt the returner, it'll only be a 5-yard penalty. If you go in there with the intent to injure him, they'll tack on a lot of yards. 25-yard punt that time by Luka Kanji. And I can tell you what, Steve, it's a good thing that offense moved a little bit, because this is a battle of field position.
No yards. Saskatchewan number 42. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, Marcus Howell is right down here now. He blocked one last week. I can't believe they set their up back so deep and they don't recognize that he's coming free.
Stampeders 1st and 10 from the 49. Reynolds going nowhere.
Number 45, Mike
wearing the mic for us this afternoon in our mic'd up feature is Nick Lewis of the Calgary Stampeders. There he is. Never shy around a microphone.
Start the party. Let's go. You pull him up, I ain't got no choice. When you pull him up to the line of scrimmage, I ain't got no choice but to score.
The Stampeders and Nick Lewis are 2nd and 12 from the 51. Burris. Down the middle. Man was open. It doesn't get much better than that for Howell. He just couldn't bring it in.
Well, Howell got behind the deepest man, and that's the first-year player, Tristan Clovis, the rookie from McMaster, 37, is going to fall down in the middle of the football field. Now, as he goes up, he mistimes that jump. Just gets his fingers on it, and hopefully that was enough from his point of view to distract that catch, because otherwise Marcus Howell is jogging in the end zone.
He done the most important part, and that was to get himself open to become a target for Burris. Burke Dales gets the punt away. It's a good one. It bounces into the end zone. And the Stampeders will pick up a single point and go in front of the Riders 16-3.
First and 10 Riders.
1:27 to play till halftime here at McMahon Stadium. 16-3 favor the Stampeders, but the Riders have the ball. First and 10 from their own 35. Joseph looking for Dominguez, and is that picked off? Reinhardt all over Dominguez, and he comes up with the ball.
And you know what? What's equally or more impressive is the way that Reinhardt fell back into the ball, because Dominguez, as he's running him off, Steve, he comes back to the football. Now that means he's going to be inside, closer to the ball. But watch the concentration as he keeps fighting through toward the ball. It comes up with a great interception. And once again, excellent field position for the Stampeder offense.
Stampeders doing it now on both sides of the ball against the Riders. First and 10 from the 43. Burris out of the shotgun. Has time. Pumps once. And then throws incomplete.
Under pressure, throws incomplete.
Well, that was recognized initially by Reggie Hunt. Looked like they originally wanted to go to the flats, set up a little screen to Joffrey Reynolds. Wasn't there. He pulled the ball down, tried to go downfield, but that just took too much time. So you watch initially, he's going to try and come back to the left, pump fakes, hoping something will open down the field, but great coverage by the secondary of Saskatchewan.
Nobody was biting on that pump fake, and Burris forced to unload. So it'll be second and 10 for Calgary. Burris. And that was almost picked off. Curry had it, but couldn't hang on. They were looking for Copeland.
Well, I'll tell you what, Curry didn't come up with the interception, but that's because of Copeland. Copeland came back and ripped that ball out of Curry's hand. As that ball got away from Henry Burris, and looked like it was over the mid receiver and too short for the far receiver, Jermaine Copeland.
And now Sandro DeAngelis with a 50-yard field goal attempt.
So Sandro DeAngelis will come on to attempt a 50-yarder.
Timeout.
We get a timeout.
Saskatchewan.
Danny Barrett electing to put a little pressure on the Stampeders place kicker. His longest this season is a 52-yarder. Remember, he missed one earlier in this game.
Well, and kicking the same way. And I think this is a great call by Barrett. Just make the youngster think about the kick a little bit longer.
The chess game is underway here at McMahon.
Well, when you talk to DeAngelis, you realize he's a very, very confident kicker. And actually, you talk to any kicker that's worth his weight in gold, and they're all confident. They got to believe they can make every kick.
From the 50, DeAngelis has the legs, but it's wide, goes deep into the end zone. The Riders elect to run it out. McNeil, good downfield coverage on Dorsey. So when the Riders go to work here, they will be first and 10. Deep in their own zone.
Well, we take a look at the hold by Ralph. Puts it down, laces again. Nothing wrong. And this is a long kick, 50 yards, but again, just to the left of the uprights. And Dorsey elected to try and bring it out. And what a tackle by the big man, Jay McNeil. 6'4", 300 pounds, get downfield like a running back. Well, you don't want to lose him, the 13-year veteran out of Kent State, West Division All-Star last year. Really a leader of that offensive line.
Less than a minute to play, second quarter at McMahon.
You see him checking the stability of the knee. That's one of the dangers of the long field goals when you have your offensive line in blocking, is that they've got to cover. But he gets up, it doesn't look like anything right there, and then he just starts to tighten up.
To the point where he couldn't walk off the field, but he now is being walked off with packed leg.
Well, being a former O-lineman, I might have
don't tip your hand. Don't give me away. Don't give away secrets.
Well, I'm just thinking he just was out of breath. It's the old fake knee injury. I'm winded.
So the Riders go to work. 1st and 10 from their own 6. 4 punts and an interception the last 5 times they've had the ball. Joseph, quick pass, complete. Armstead at the 11-yard line. They will roll the ball down.
Well, Armstead continued to fight for yards, not feeling that he was brought down, or his knee didn't come down. He was tackled initially by George White. Armstead having a quiet afternoon. The wide receiver who has accounted for 5 touchdowns against Calgary this year. Having a quiet afternoon.
Clock is running just over 40 seconds in the second quarter. 2nd and 5 for the Riders from their own 11. Quick pass. Armstead. Got blocking. Armstead wisely stops the clock at the 31-yard line with 27 seconds to play till the half.
Obviously, we're piped into the huddle. Just talk about the young man, and they realize they've got to get the ball into the electrifying return man, receiver, Jason Armstead.
Made most of those yards by himself. His quickness, his speed once he got to the outside and took that pass from Joseph. 1st and 10 Riders from their own 31. Joseph from the shotgun. Flag down. Joseph to a wide open Jason Armstead.
Well, that's a long throw, and it's going to count because the flag is offside against the Stampeders.
Offside. Calgary number 76. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
Randy Chevrolet, the long snapper who also doubles as a defensive tackle, jumping the gun. Well, Steve, a great call. You saw how wide open he was down that right sideline.
Well, Luka Kanji's longest field goal is 44 yards, so the Riders have got some movement to do here with 20 seconds to play in the quarter. Joseph, again, the man is wide open, back to Minguez, and they are in field goal range for Kanji with 14 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
And give credit to that offensive line and the backs because they all step up. Stampeders aren't going to fool anybody. They line up everybody in the middle. They're bringing the blitz. They're going to try and force a fast throw by Kerry Joseph. He gets time and he finds Matt Dominguez downfield.
This drive for the Riders started at their own 5-yard line. Joseph has time, and the pass is incomplete. He was looking for Kenton Keith coming out of the backfield. Reinhardt covering on the play. 8 seconds to play till halftime.
I did not like this call. This is a very dangerous throw as he sits there. He sees the pressure up the middle. That's a forced situation. I mean, he's covered initially by John Grace, the wide side linebacker, but I mean, Kobe Reinhardt had a great shot to come up with another interception.
2nd and 10 for the Riders from the Stampeders' 32-yard line. 8 seconds remaining to play in the second quarter. May run out of time here. Clock goes down to 3 seconds. And that should set it up perfectly for Luka Kanji.
That'll be about a 32-yard attempt as they give the ball off the right side to Kenton Keith. And you can hear the guys on Calgary saying, you got no choice, because we all know how dangerous it is. I know people are saying, well, if you don't touch him, he'll run out the half. But if you don't touch him, he runs into the end zone.
Number 10, Luka Kanji will attempt a 32-yard field goal to finish the half.
Kanji. His second field goal try of the afternoon. Good on the first and good on the second. So 3 more points on the board for the Riders as the half ends. The Stamps up by 10, 16-6, but a good finishing drive for Danny Barrett and the Riders. Now down to Kahari, who's standing by with Coach Tom Higgins.
Thanks, guys. Coach, you didn't give up any touchdowns in that half, and you scored in the red zone. How did you feel about the half so far?
Well, we changed the red zone to green zone, so that made a little bit of a difference. But, you know, with the first 30 minutes is done. We won the turnover battle. That was critical for us. It's a good feeling going in at halftime, but in the CFL, you got to play the next 30 minutes.
What do you need to do in the second half to be successful?
Same thing. We got to move the chains. We got to not, we can bend a little bit, but don't break, don't hurt ourselves. And if we stay disciplined, we'll have a very good chance of winning the second half, and we can win the football game.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Guys.
Thank you, Kahari. It was all go for the Stampeders in the green zone in the first half. 16-6, Calgary lead. We're at the half here at McMahon Stadium on an absolutely perfect early evening for this crucial Western Division mashup between the Stampeders and the Roughriders. Interesting sight at halftime. They had the Battle of the Mascots, but in front of the mascots, all by himself, Sandro De Angelis practicing field goal kicking.
Well, that's what you got to do. Remember, last week against Regina, he missed his first 2 field goals in one game this season. Now he started off with 2 misses, albeit long kicks. So I think he's just trying to get his rhythm back, make sure he's got it all fixed like a golfer with a swing, and we'll see what happens in the second half of that.
There he was, all by himself. And the ones that he missed, he's just pushing a little to the left, just hooking a bit.
And that's exactly it. So he knows that we've seen the holds already by the great replays we've shown. So he knows he's just kicking it and maybe approaching the ball a little bit from the other side. He's got to come a little bit more direct on, and that's what he's going to be working on right now at the halftime.
Okay, down at the sidelines, Kahari Jones with Danny Barrett.
Thanks, guys. Coach Barrett, you guys are virtually equal in yards, but they've been able to put touchdowns on the board. You haven't. What do you need to do this second half?
Well, we got to change the field position, first of all. You know, they had great field position throughout the first half, but I thought it was a great sign of the team that we have to put points on the board to close out the half.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Guys.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up in the half for the Riders will be Kerry Joseph. Can't be happy with those statistics, although they did finish with a pretty good drive.
I think that's the positive, exactly, Steve. They started at their own 6, 7 plays and 79 yards later, they get a field goal. So that is definitely a positive to go into halftime with.
Henry Burris and his team starting with a 16-6 lead. Problems inside the 25-yard line for the Stampeders coming into this one. They seem to have solved that in the first half.
You know, they did a nice job offensively, and you got to give credit to the defense. We haven't talked about the Stampeder defense, but they basically shut out the Saskatchewan offense, holding to just 2 field goals in that first half.
Luka Kanji set to get this second half underway.
Riders to kick off the second half.
Ruffin and Allen deep to receive as the ball falls off the tee. I think it was the way that Kanji set that one up. The wind is not that strong to blow the ball off at this point. gets up to about the 33-yard line.
Number 32, David Allen on the return for Calgary.
Burris and the Stampeders once again will get pretty good field position to begin this second half.
Henry Burris basically doing it the opening drive, finding a touchdown. He's got a nice one to David Allen, and of course to the right side again. He's got Nick Lewis on the little slant pattern. It looks like he's favoring from those stats, and they're pretty evident, the right side of the football field.
Burris and the Stamps first and 10 from their own 33. Reynolds crosses the 36-yard line before he's brought down. A gain of 4.
Steve, I want to really see, we're going to have to watch to see what happens. Last week against Saskatchewan, we heard the defense coordinator Richie Hall say that the Calgary offense changed their game plan offensively, even though they were only down a bit, and they stopped utilizing Reynolds in the second half of last week. And there you see Coach Richie Hall right there.
2nd and 6 Stampeders from their own 36 out the shotgun. Burris.
Come on, make a tackle. Make
Dumps it off, finds Elijah Thurman.
Will be held short by the Rider defense.
And that will not be good enough for the first down.
That's a great job of reacting to the football
3rd down, a yard to go, Calgary.
By the Saskatchewan Roughriders, because it looks initially, and you can see that Thurman is trying to break the tackle. He just can't pick up that first down, and as a result, Burke Dales will come on to punt the ball away.
A hot topic in the CFL these days, the ball and the lacing on the white part, the stripes around both ends of the ball. Burke Dale says he doesn't like it. He wants to go back to the old ball. He'll like that punt. Armstead inside his 20.
Armstead for the Riders.
Brought down at about the 27-28-yard line. Kerry Joseph not enjoying a great first half. Not putting up the numbers of Henry Burris.
Well, not having no touchdowns, and we just mentioned earlier, 11 and 19. Those numbers somewhat gratuitous in the fact that the last drive of the half he was 79 yards passing, but you can see he's utilizing the entire field. He's thrown a pick here, and he's very fortunate because he's almost thrown another pick to the left side that we saw Kobe Reinhardt almost get his hands on for a second interception.
First and 10, Saskatchewan from their own 28. First offensive series of the second half for Joseph. Finds French. French brought down at the 35-yard line by Reinhardt.
He's covered by Kobe Reinhardt.
Watching Kerry Joseph roll out to the right-hand side, it did not look like the Kerry Joseph of old. Almost looks like he's got a bit of a leg injury. It wasn't looking very sharp. Almost hobbled up as he tried to roll out. Take a look as he rolls out here. He's trying to go, and he's kind of almost hopping as you see him taking off to get to that short side of the field.
4th catch for French. He has 32 yards in this one. 2nd and 3 for the Riders. Joseph, shovel pass, finds Dorsey. And Dorsey will be shy of the first down.
No gain.
Now they're trying to run the shovel, but the only way the shovel works is if we get the defensive line and linebackers up the field, which causes gaps or separation between the two defenders. That time they just float laterally down the line. And if you don't get penetration, you see one guy there, but look at everybody else. All his partners in red right there on the line of scrimmage and snuffing that play out quickly.
Danny Barrett and the Riders not in a gambling mood at this point. They're going to punt it away. Luka Kanji. And hit soon as he picked up the ball. McKenzie downfield. So when we come back. Welcome back to the CFL on CBC. We're at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The Stampeders leading the Riders 16-6. Let's get you closer to the action, courtesy of Nick Lewis.
But I'm going to bait him so he comes straight up like he's going to just make the tackle, and I'm going to hit him late. But if you stay still, then he's going to be able to get you a little bit. What's up, Texas boy? What's up, Texas boy?
Stampeders haven't had a first down since Lewis's TD. 1st and 10 from the 34. Reynolds into the arms of Fred Perry. That Saskatchewan defense has done a pretty good job.
Well, Fred Perry, Nate Davis again plugging that middle. Right in the middle, you can see there's big Nate taking on the blocker, fighting through. As you said before, Fred Perry once again at the bottom of that pile, taking the wheels off that locomotive.
They picked up 2, 2nd and 8 from the 36. Burris fires wide to the right, complete to Rambo. And Rambo did the rest of himself once he eluded that first tackle.
Well, you can never fall asleep on that far side or the wide side corner. And that play, one-on-one, man-on-man coverage, Armando Curry just sitting soft. A lot of cushion given to Rambo, and by the time he gets the ball, he's making it up. And when you have to react to the ball that quickly, a lot of times the receiver can make a move on you and make you miss. That's exactly what happened.
17-yard pickup. 1st and 10, Calgary. From the 54. Burris with the play fake. Picked off. Bush. And Bush gets his way to the 53-yard line with the interception.
Well, Henry Burris should not have made this decision. He tried to force the ball to Copeland. David Bush is sitting there. This ball is thrown into coverage. Closest receiver to it was David Bush, the defender. And the first turnover for Saskatchewan, you can see he just throws off that back foot. He almost doesn't see number 5, David Bush. Big turn of events for the Saskatchewan team.
So Bush and the Riders are now 1st and 10. Joseph down. Reinhardt. The Stampeders answering with a big play of their own.
Well, Denny Crehan says, let's just bring somebody from the backside and see if he can outrun him. Well, what happens if you got somebody free backside, the quarterback's told, you cannot stop the setup. As soon as Kerry Joseph stopped to set his feet, Reinhardt's there meeting him, and very lucky that Kerry Joseph did not fumble that ball.
So the Riders now 2nd and 18 from their own 45. Joseph from the shotgun. Over the middle. He was looking for Matt Dominguez, but again, he overthrows his big receiver.
And it's just a question of if you bring pressure and you hit a quarterback, a lot of times he will develop happy feet and he'll start throwing the football ahead of when he wants to. He's got him open. He's sitting underneath the coverage. He's in front of Chapman, but because of the previous hit by Reinhardt, he throws that ball, takes off on him, and he overthrows Dominguez.
And that brings on Luka Kanji and the Riders punt team. Kanji will get the punt away from his own 35. A better one. Allen. Flag is down.
As a flag comes in, 42-yard
late flag, and usually that's against the returning team. It's going to be a block, a legal block by the Stampeders. This might be the worst field position.
Calgary number 93, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that's Terrence Patrick, but you know that might be the first or worst field position that the Stampeders are going to start with.
You're watching the CFL on CBC. Calgary cheerleaders still have something to cheer about. The Stampeders are up 16-6, just under 9 minutes to play in the third quarter. But the Calgary offense in a bit of a hole thanks to that man and the Riders defense. Copeland hangs on, stops short of the 20.
Quick throw by Burris to Copeland, trying to get the playmaker the ball.
2nd and 5, Calgary.
Once again, you see Fred Perry trying to disrupt the throwing motion, a rhythm of Henry Burris. Jermaine Copeland, who led the CFL in yardage in 2003, last 4 seasons, pretty outstanding yardage, 4,587, but 33 touchdowns. He is a playmaker.
Burris. Again, complete to Thurman. Thurman drops short of the 30-yard line.
Well, methodically just picking whatever he feels is the weakness in the coverage. Again to the left side. Working his way to the outside, the wide receiver this time. The initial pass before to the slot back Copeland. This time he goes a player wider to the short side and picks up Elijah Thurman.
And they spot the ball at the 31. The Stampeders are now 1st and 10. Reynolds.
And off Godfrey Reynolds in a gain of 4.
And he gets up across the 35-yard line.
The tackle for the Riders, Mike McCullough, number 45.
Well, Godfrey Reynolds can do it all. We'll take a look at what he's done. And up the middle. I mean, he's doing it the hard way. Take a look. He loves to run north-south. Biggest gains, 8 for 39 yards. Majority of his workload between the tackles.
One back, Louis.
2nd and 6, Calgary. From the 35. That time, the quick pitch. Morgan reads it well. Little, if any, running room for Reynolds.
And there's so much pressure put on the Saskatchewan defense because the Calgary offense is going to run that bunch formation or 3 receivers clumped to the short side to lead block. But Omar Morgan comes and fights off the initial block by the receiver and makes that play and brings it up short. Nice play by that short side cornerback, Omar Morgan.
And once again, the Riders defense have done their job, putting Calgary in a punting situation. Burke-Dales. Dales with a good one. Armstead just inside the 30. Armstead knocked out a play at about 37, 38-yard line.
And again, Steve, a late flag, and that's the thing that really frustrates a coach because Armstead comes up, makes a nice job of catching the ball, not allowing the ball to bounce, picking up good field position, but because of an illegal block or a hold, the offense of Saskatchewan will start back.
Illegal block. Saskatchewan number 20. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, that's Nikiasen again. Got called earlier for a illegal block from the side. Once again, the culprit. See him talking and making his case, pleading his case there to Coach Barrett.
Our spotter, Larry Mueller, says no way. That was not Nikiasen, it was Curry.
Remember, he's from Saskatchewan.
That's true, that's very true. 1st and 10 Riders from their own 20. They trail 16-6. Joseph, wide open receiver on the far side.
Gary Joseph throwing complete. Corey Grant, number 2, with the catch.
Well, the Calgary defense kind of got caught and influenced by the wide receiver on the play. I believe Dominguez comes back into the field and they all follow him and they allow Corey Grant to slide wide open to the outside.
They picked up 13 on the play. 1st and 10 Riders from their own 33. Kenton Keith does well to find the hole and then do the rest himself.
Well, Kenton Keith, we talked earlier, had to be a factor. He has only carried the ball 5 for 41, respectable yard per carry average. I still think the need to utilize him more. We saw him again when he gets the ball, Steve. His second effort is never questioned because he spins, he's hard to bring down, and he is so quick to the hole.
Those were the numbers prior to that rush. 5:39 to play as they bring out the chains. And it looks as if the Riders will have enough for the first. Or are they short? No, they're short. Why about the nose of the football?
And remember, every time you get this second and inches, a lot of coaches sometimes like to pull a play out of the bag and go deep, thinking that they're anticipating the quarterback sneak.
Well, you got a guy behind the center who can run well with the ball, and Kerry Joseph. He'll keep it. He does, and he'll have the first down. They only needed inches to keep this drive alive.
And it is first down, Saskatchewan.
Nice surge by the interior of that offensive line. You don't talk a lot about Jeremy O'Day, the center, 10-year veteran. He will be the center of that force. And Big Freddie Childress, the guy they call Big Chill, Andrew Green, two former outstanding offensive linemen of the year winners. Either side of O'Day doing a nice job.
Less than 5 to play, third quarter. First and 10 Riders from the 44. Quick pass taken by French. Reinhardt covering on the play.
And you have to be impressed with the fact that the receiving crew and Jason French in this case, after they catch the ball, they're not content with just catching the ball. Look at how they try and break away. I mean, that's what you want out of a receiver. Not just be satisfied with catching the ball, but doing something after you catch the ball.
This is deja vu all over again for the Riders. Just like their drive at the end of the opening half here at McMahon. First and 10 from the 54. Kenton Keith. Brought down by Grace.
Oh, that's a great job by John Grace to knife in there from the backside. He's the far side linebacker. And he reads this and goes underneath the blocks or behind the blocks. He's going to stutter step. He's going to bring it one more time to the outside, but you see coming through the backside, number 7, John Grace. John Grace, the Defensive Player of the Year last year in the CFL. 157 tackles all over. A playmaker on defense.
2nd and 10 Riders. Joseph puts it up. He was looking for Grant. In and out of the arms of Corey Grant, who stretched out to try and bring it in.
Well, initially I thought Kerry Joseph had to get rid of that ball because he was under tremendous pressure. And I thought he had overthrown this as a result. But Corey Grant almost manages to run underneath this ball. Safety blitz. Trey Young, 33, coming up the middle. And just about comes up with a circus catch.
So that will bring on the much maligned punter of Saskatchewan, Luka Kanji, looking for a big one, and he gets it. Allen at his 5. Allen battles his way up to the 10-yard line. So when we come back, Burris will start from the 10. You're watching the CFL on CBC. The last two starts with the Stampeders for on 11 and 15. Burris completes one. Nick Lewis, our mic'd up man, gets the first down.
Great concentration by Nick Lewis because the coverage was there, and I believe it was Tristan Clovis, the free safety, who's going to come up, and he's right in the corner right there. And you see as he comes back, he just tries to time that, but gets there a split second late, and that allows Nick Lewis to get his hands on the ball.
Lewis, 5 catches for 49 yards. First and 10 Stampeders from their own 27. Quick pass on the slant in, and it's complete to Copeland.
Well, one of the hardest passes to cover if you're going to sit in a zone is the slant pattern, because obviously the receiver from the slot back position, this time Copeland, is just going to find the opening, slant into the middle, find the zone, bam, the quarterback is just going to throw and trying to hit him on the run and maybe spring him. We take a look at the comparison between the two quarterbacks today. Pretty even numbers, 160, 170 before that completion.
Reynolds across the 50-yard line.
And perhaps the biggest drive so far of the game for the Stampeders, having started back deep in their own territory and now are approaching center field. Nice job of making the first man miss and continually pumping the legs.
That's something the Stampeders and Steve Barato had in the first half, was excellent field position to start their drives. Reynolds, nowhere to go that time, gets back to the line of scrimmage, but Hunt is there to pull him down.
Well, Hunt and Scott Schultz, we haven't mentioned Scott Schultz's name much today, but he got a little penetration off that right side, and that forced Reynolds back into Reggie Hunt.
Thank you for letting us entertain you.
Scott Schultz, who says he's just a big, bold, fat guy playing football, having fun. Always a colorful quote, that one.
2nd and 10, Stampeders from the 51. Joseph passes over the middle, but it skipped once before it found the arms of Lewis.
Again, good decision by Henry Burris to try to get the ball to Lewis. As you say, the ball a little low. Coverage was there. Coach Hagan still likes what he saw. A good drive by the offense, especially when there's a battle of field position. Now you got to punt. You're going to put Saskatchewan hopefully deep to start this drive deep in their own territory.
Burke Dales on to punt for the Stampeders. Armstead at the 11. Armstead, good speed.
Jason Armstead, number
Flag
1,
down as
12-yard return.
Armstead goes out of play.
It just frustrates me, Steve, that every time we see it, almost on every return, on every game we've worked or watched, there's a flag all the time on a return. I think they maybe have to reevaluate this. 2 planes of blocking the front and the back. Last year we were 4 sides, and helmet had to be in front of the person.
Saskatchewan, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's just tough. It's tough every time, it seems. It really hurts the return game. Only one, I believe, 1 touchdown to date returned by a returner on special teams. And last year, I think there was about 10 by this time.
So once again, the Riders will not have excellent field position from which to start this drive. They're 1st and 10 at their own 13. They trail 16-6.
Joseph and the Riders down at 13 for first down.
Joseph from the shotgun. Keith crosses the 25-yard line. Reinhardt pulls him down. Saskatchewan fans with something to cheer about, a 13-yard pickup, and the Riders are 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line as we begin the 4th quarter here at McMahon. 16-6, Stamps leading.
Well, you can see it was basically a defensive struggle in the 3rd quarter. The only thing was an interception by Saskatchewan. David Bush could not convert it into any points though.
Backs are in the I formation. They give it to Armstead. And Armstead.
Armstead sprung out short of the first down. John Grace, number 7.
Armstead, who was rushed for a touchdown this year already on a reverse. Play very similar to that one right there.
For Armstead.
He's going to come in from the backside slot back position. Going to get a lead block from Chris Zarka. Brought down eventually by John Grace.
Riders mixing up their offensive formations. They've had the I and the T formation. That time they give it to Zarka, his first carry of the game.
Well, just great penetration by Brian Clark. He is so smart. He makes all the checks, all the defensive checks at that linebacker position. He's right here. Now just watch him as he just finds the opening, sees the hole, recognizes the play, and finishes it.
They needed 3 yards to keep the drive going. They come up short, and that'll bring on Luka Kanji and the Riders punting team. Allen forced back inside his own 25. He's at his own 20. Good downfield coverage by the Riders. We'll have the Stampeders in a bit of a hole when we come back.
When every college turned him down.
You want to have a happy and successful life? Go to college.
He made one up.
Guys, I think this could work.
At South Harmon, the students are the teachers.
You want me to be the dean of your college?
Get him the suit.
Ask me about my winner.
From the studio that brought you American Pie.
At South Harmon, we say yes to you.
Accept it.
I can't believe this is a class.
In theaters August 18th.
1st and 10 for Calgary from their own 22. Full play action. Reynolds crosses the 31-yard line.
You know, Reynolds gets that little screen pass. They're going to bring the blitz from the backside, but you got to love David Bush. 5'8", 160 pounds soaking wet, and he sees the big train, Joffrey Reynolds, coming at him. He's got to put his head down and bring him down. He's going to slide him out. Once he gets to the outside, he's eventually brought down. Love it when I see the small guys, the pencil necks, coming up and making big plays.
2nd and about a yard and a half. Quick pass, complete to Thurman. Thurman still on his feet. Knocked out of play at the 45, 46-yard line by Bush. Bush, a busy defender right about now.
Well, Bush a defender, but that's basically coming over to help for Omar Morgan. Omar Morgan just missed times as he's trying to come in there and make sure he gets contact with Thurman on the play. And Thurman's just giving me a little spin move every time he catches the ball, just shakes around, spins around, comes to the inside. As you say, Bush brings him down, but Omar Morgan's the one that's frustrated about not getting him initially.
From their own 46, 1st and 10 Stampeders. Burris bought some time for himself with the pump fake, and then he's forced to slide because Hunt was right in his face, about to unload.
Well, also unloading, but you know what? He's already thrown a couple passes where he's attempted to get the ball downfield to Copeland. We saw David Bush with that interception. This is maybe a smarter move. If there's nothing there, eat the ball. Lift it, have another down.
He picked up 3 yards with the slide, so it's 2nd and 7 Calgary from their own 49. They lead 16-6. We're in the 4th quarter. Burris. He was looking for Rambo. That was not one of his better throws.
Well, it's good pressure. They brought Reggie Hunt on the blitz from the top side. Henry Burris just could not find. He's just going to see the blitz coming from the backside right there. He just about gets to Burris, but good coverage down the field on Rambo.
Stamps looking for a big punt from Burke Dales, who's had a good afternoon punting. This punt will come from his own 40. Armstead at the 15, still dancing at the 22-yard line. So when we come back, Kerry Joseph and the Riders will have the ball, trailing 16-6. Who gets your vote in this one. Or perhaps Kerry Joseph. Riders' possession in this second half has resulted in 4 punts. Kenton Keith still on his feet. And Keith crosses the 40-yard line.
And Ken Keith is going to go back to Brian Clark and say, here's your pants back, because he made a great move at the line of scrimmage. Brian Clark thought he had them all lined up to bring them down for little or no gain, and he just shakes and freezes them, and you see Clark penetration. Well, with the little inside juke move, Kenton Keith breaks away and picks up good yardage.
And the Riders going with a benefit of the huddle. That last play coming from the double tight end formation. Joseph puts it up, in and out of the arms of Matt Dominguez. That was almost picked off, but Dominguez was there.
Well, as you say, Wes Lysak, who comes in the game to spell Trey Young at that safety spot every once in a while, gets over there, gets contact on Dominguez, but as you say, Dominguez had his hands on that ball and should have come up with that catch. Just right down, good protection, right down the sideline. Throws over the dropping linebacker Cole.
2nd and 10 Riders from their own 40. Big down. Joseph under pressure. Eludes the pressure, has lots of room. Gets the first down and goes out of play at the midfield stripe.
Well, you know, Steve, I talked about this earlier. He is limping. We talk about a warrior. This is a warrior. After that hit and took the first series, again, we know that he likes to take off with the football. Something's there, but this is not characteristic or vintage Kerry Joseph. Look at him. He's like a horse with one leg that's been gunshot. Take a look what he did last week. He might have driven that knee down in at Mosaic Field at Regina.
A warrior indeed. 1st and 10 Riders. Keith. And Keith close to the first down.
Well, I, for one, am happy to see an offense utilize all its weapons. And today it seems like the Saskatchewan Roughriders have rediscovered Kenton Keith. Whether he's running the ball or catching it out of the backfield, they're going to bring the sticks into measure. We say if any offense has weapons, as it comes up a little short, utilize your weapons. Otherwise, why dress them?
This drive started at the Riders' 22-yard line as they bring out the chains to measure. Just over the length of the football shy. I don't think there's any question what Danny Barrett will do.
The Riders are 2nd and inches.
Again, Kerry Joseph, a very capable running back when need be in a short yardage situation. A miscommunication on the part of Joseph and his center, Jeremy O'Day.
Well, that is just this isn't O'Day's fault. I believe that Kerry Joseph pulled out from the center early and took his eyes off the ball. I think he was so worried about getting everybody in their proper position. And that's as good as a turnover in my books, because the fact is, with less than a yard to go, it's pretty much an automatic first down. They would have had another fresh set of downs as a result of this fumbled exchange. Kanji's on the field.
Why, oh why, did they not go the quarterback sneak?
I agree with you, Steve. Don't try to get too fancy. Keep it simple, stupid.
Kanji with a timely punt. He has found his stroke in the punting department. A big single point for the Riders. They trail 16-7. Pacific. The undefeated Owls against the Stampeders. The Stampeders have possession of the ball now. 1st and 10 from their own 35 after giving up that single. A 56-yard punt from Luka Kanji. Burris going deep. Airs it out. And almost taken by Rambo, but a flag is down. Could this be interference?
Oh, absolutely interference. I believe Tristan Clovis, the free safety, he was helping in the double coverage, lost sight of the ball and then went after the receiver. And if you hit or make contact with the receiver when the ball's in the air, it is pass interference.
Forward pass interference. Saskatchewan number 37. Ball spotted at the point of the foul. First down.
Now 54-yard play as a result. Danny Barrett talking very highly of the rookie from McMaster. This fourth start this afternoon, and that time made the wrong decision against the veteran Rambo.
Now it's 1st and 10 Calgary on the Riders, 21-yard line. Reynolds runs into his own player and then bounces down inside the 15-yard line. Good second effort there by Joffrey Reynolds.
Well, he's been doing it all afternoon. They showed his rushing chart earlier in the third quarter, and he really thrives between the tackles. And he's got the ability to bounce off, and that time off as one of his own offensive linemen, and still pick up positive yardage.
Gain of 7. 2nd and 3 for the Stampeders from the Saskatchewan 14. Burris on the shotgun. Again to Reynolds, and Reynolds fights his way down inside the 6-yard line.
And we haven't talked a lot about the offensive line of the Stampeders, and they've really done a nice job. And this is what you want to do late in the game, is be able to establish or control the line of scrimmage. And there's no better way than getting your running game going. You see center John Comiskey with McNeil and Robertson at the guards, and Pilon and Goche at the tackles, doing a nice job of getting yardage for Joffrey Reynolds.
Calgary inside the Riders 25, 2 TDs and a missed field goal. Reynolds, touchdown!
It's a 6-yard touchdown run.
Well, 3 plays in a row. They call number 21's number, and this time stutter step, freezes the defense, gets to the outside. Love how he switches the ball away from the defenders and is not denied until he crosses the goal line.
Sandro DeAngelis with the point after, and the Stampeders now lead 23-7. A Joffrey Reynolds touchdown run has the Stampeders now leading the Riders 23-7. 17 carries for 95 yards for the big running back this afternoon here at McMahon.
First points of the second half for the Stampeders as well.
DeAngelis has it go out of play at the 16-yard line.
Saskatchewan's offense will come and take that at the 45. But that was a great job of getting great blocks by you. I want to show you something now. Here is your guards, and your running back. That's Wes Cates. Now watch as they block in. Robertson pancakes Reggie Hunt. Wes Cates gets the outside linebacker, and then it becomes a foot race. And Reynolds is always going to outpower Tristan Clovis in a chase position.
Pretty good afternoon's work for Steve Barato and the Calgary offense led by that man, Joffrey Reynolds. 1st and 10 Riders from their own 45. Pass over the middle to Keith.
Kerry Joseph passing complete for Kenton Keith, number 28.
And Keith up to the 53-yard line.
Short of the first down marker by a couple. George White, number 38.
You see Kerry Joseph, and we've seen him a lot counting clouds in the sky because he's been punished early by Abdullah and often, as we see Kobe Reinhardt coming from the backside. A lot of pressure, a lot of hits. A lot of times, Kerry Joseph has pulled himself off the field.
Quick pass this time to Armstead, and he crosses the midfield stripe.
Well, they're trying to get the ball into Jason Armstead's hands, but I really believe with 5:23 and ticking, you got to go downfield right now. You're down by a few. You've got to get something positive. And the Calgary defense kind of doing a remake of last week where the Saskatchewan defense shut out Calgary from scoring a touchdown. Right now they got the goose egg going as well.
Just over 5 to play. Joseph. And Dominguez will be close to the first down marker.
Nice job of Matt Dominguez to get that ball and continue fighting for yardage. 9 yards on that, making it a 2nd and 1.
From the shotgun. Joseph. That time makes no mistake. Goes to Kenton Keith. He crosses the 40-yard line. He will have the necessary yardage for the first down.
And as Kenton Keith sidestepped would-be tackler at the line of scrimmage, he tripped himself up, and I believe if he would have kept his footing, he might have gone all the way, because there was definitely no defender in front of him when he went down.
1st and 10 Riders from the stance 40. Joseph lost some time with that fake, but he passes out of bounds. He was looking for Armstead, and Armstead really had no chance on that one.
And you saw the back judge, Heinz Brademan, getting involved in the play, number 40, taking a shot, trying to get a couple votes for the Warrior himself.
There's many a game when those officials could be Warriors. It's a tough job out there. The good ones make it look easy. 2nd and 10 from the 40. Joseph bought some time with the fake, and then over the arms of Matt Dominguez. Dominguez kicking the signage in frustration after that ball sailed way over his head.
Well, first off, this is a very difficult throw. He's going to this opposite way to the short side. He's got to throw cross body, and as he throws cross body, the ball just sails because he's not throwing in a natural quarterback rhythm of leading through and falling through your foot. And I think that's one of the reasons that ball took off on him.
No other option for Danny Barrett and the Riders. They've got to go for it. 3rd and 10 from the 40. They're down 23-7. Joseph has time, and he fires incomplete.
Joseph's pass intended for number 8.
Was it intended for Fantuz or Armstead?
I believe it was in the direction of Andy Fantuz, but I really got to tell you, I think that Kerry Joseph is hurt. He had an opportunity again on that play, I think, to pull the ball down and run. Watch him as he sets down, and look at the alley here. He's got to throw or to run if he takes off with that ball. He seems to be hesitant to pull that ball down now, Steve, and run with it.
And that is a very big weapon in the Riders' arsenal when he's 100%, his ability to run the ball. 1st and 10, Stampeders from the 40. Burris. Thurman. And Thurman comes up shy of the midfield stripe. 23-7 the score. Favor the Stampeders. You're watching the CFL on CBC. He never met a microphone he didn't like, and that's why we've got Nick Lewis mic'd up.
And for Joffrey Reynolds, number 21.
All right, I told you, quit saying all right. Quit saying all right. Tell him to show me something, quit saying all right. Yeah, talking to the mic. Talking to the mic. Talking to the mic.
He's having fun out there, and right now his team is leading 23-7. Trying to put the icing on the cake of this series against the Riders. 1st and 10 from the 54. Burris from the shotgun. Swings it out to Reynolds. Reynolds with some space. Reynolds still on his feet. Reynolds down to the 7-yard line.
And Steve, they might have forgotten about Joffrey Reynolds in the second half of last week's defeat to Saskatchewan. But I guarantee you, Steve Barretto, the offense coordinator, would not let that happen again today. And boy, little swing pass to Joffrey Reynolds in the backfield, and then the big man does the rest himself as he runs through would-be tacklers. Turns a little short pass. It's a huge gain.
A 48-yard gain for Steve Barretto's Calgary offense on that play, courtesy of Reynolds. First and goal from the 8. And that time, no running room whatsoever for Joffrey Reynolds.
Well,
Schultz is there to greet him.
The Moose Jaw native gave the Moose Stomp to Joffrey Reynolds. One of the few times we've seen Joffrey Reynolds stopped in his tracks. All because of great penetration. John Comiskey, who's really had an outstanding game at center, just lets Scott Schultz get to the short side, and that results in the play being stopped for a loss.
Reynolds is out. A passing situation for Henry Burris. Burris completes to Copeland. Touchdown! But a flag is down. Will it come back?
Well, I saw David Bush on the ground. It looked like he had just slipped. I saw the flag come down almost simultaneously to that. It'll be interesting to see who the flag is against. They might be calling a pick or a rub play against the Calgary Stampeders. They are talking to Eddie Davis, the captain of the Saskatchewan defense. So it indeed will be against
offside.
Calgary.
Calgary number 88. That penalty is declined. Illegal block. Hands to the face. Calgary number 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Well, either penalty would have hurt it. 88 gets the penalty, and I mean the offside are the ones that really hurt you. And again, we talked about this. Missed opportunities, mental mistakes. You're offside. You should never be offside. Marcus Howell will get called that one.
Second and goal, but the Stamps are 21 yards away from pay dirt. Burris picked up by the Riders.
Rontarius Robinson, I believe, dropped back into coverage from the linebacking spot. They try to go deep underneath the goalpost to Kenyon Rambo. This time it looked like he slipped. Straight down the middle. Just thrown behind. There's nothing that Rambo could have done on that play as the ball was thrown behind the intended receiver. And we saw last time, early in the season, when Rambo and Burris had a little blow up on the sidelines because of miscommunication, and that was just, I believe, a bad throw by the quarterback.
Well, the Riders are down 23-7, but after watching that unbelievable finish against the Argos a couple of weeks ago, never count the Riders out. From the 11. Joseph dumps it over the middle. Looking for French. It's incomplete. Let's check the game notes from the beginning of this one.
Well, we were going to look at Saskatchewan first, and on offense, we were talking about Kenton Keith basically not being a big part of the offense. Well, he was part of the offense today, but he really was a one-man mission thing, and they needed to get everybody else to pick up the slack. The one time I think the running backs got to do it, the receivers got to do it.
Second and 10. Riders from the 11. Joseph under a ton of pressure, but gets it away, complete to Fantuz. And Fantuz will have the first down. Again, back to the game notes one more time.
Well, for those of you who are in the bathroom, we're going to do it again. So here's the offense. We talked about KK missing in action. Look at Ken Keith, 100 yards offense today, but the receivers did not follow through. On defense, we talked about keeping Henry Burris in the pocket. 2 touchdown passes in the first half. Did a nice job of utilizing the running back to play action.
And do not look at the top of your screen. The kind of disruption we don't need. Let's check the Calgary game notes.
Oh boy, I've seen it all now. On offense, playmakers have to make plays. Lewis, Reynolds each have a touchdown. They got some big plays from Thurman. And on defense, Brian Clark, we talked about really being a Superman. 4 tackles, made some big plays. None bigger than the big second down, shine short gamble or attempt by Saskatchewan when he stuffed the back of the backfield, forcing a punting situation when they had some momentum going.
So a 1st and 10 situation for the Riders from their own 27. Dominguez forced out at the 40-yard line by Reinhardt, who has had a good afternoon for the Stamps on defense.
He really has. Now, a lot of people say, hey, they seem to be going after Kobe Reinhardt a lot because he's made a lot of tackles. But every time they throw him the ball, he's right around the receiver. Matt Dominguez, who has 5 catches after that one, but basically being held in check.
Minute 19 to play, 4th quarter. Riders needing points and a bunch of them. Pass falls incomplete. Jason Armstead was in the area, but the ball wasn't.
And once again, Kerry Joseph is helped to his feet, this time by Sheldon Apastet. Happy birthday, we mentioned it earlier. Happy 32nd. Didn't want us to talk about his age.
He didn't. When I asked him, he said, 28 would be good enough.
He says you're 32, you're too old to play. He's doing a good job today. Got that early first series fumble recovery.
2nd and 10 Riders from their own 41. Dominguez stretched out for it. Again, Reinhardt covering on the play.
Well, that's excellent textbook coverage by Kobe Reinhardt. Not allowing Matt Dominguez to even have an opportunity to try and come back to the football. Basically walling him out to the sideline. Nice job of running right in that hip pocket.
Again, no other option for Danny Barrett and the Riders. They've got to go for it. They're down 23-7. 3rd and 10 from their own 41. Joseph from the shotgun. Joseph in trouble and down, but a flag flies.
They're going to call Abdullah for face mask. He come around the corner. I believe he grabbed the helmet. Yes, they're going to call it against 53. Great penetration from the outside, rounding the corner.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Calgary number 53, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Now there's that rule about the helmet now, but he also can't strike it. He's right at the top of your screen. Now watch him, he just comes around. And G. Mikowski has no chance because he gets picked by his own running back. Running back gets in the way, that's what springs Abdullah, and you see as he tries to grab him, but it's not a good call, and I don't like the call because he's going down, he catches the forearm on the back of the helmet.
Joseph puts it up, flag flies, and around the 25-yard line.
You know, another flag, but I want to keep talking about this other point because this is driving me crazy. We've seen this before. I understand they're trying to protect the quarterback, Steve, but when the guy is struggling and trying to turn around, and as he's going down, because he'd be hit by another person, and in this instance, Abdullah catches him across the back of the head as he's trying to tackle him.
10-yard penalty.
That is, you have to have proper, the ref's got to have some understanding of what really is illegal contact or roughing the passer or head blows. That is not a head blow.
So the Riders are moving the chains with the help of the flags. 59 seconds to play, 4th quarter. They trail 23-7. They're 1st and 10 from the 44. Joseph puts it up, complete to French.
Kerry Joseph, throw incomplete. Number 6, Jason French with the grab.
Well, Stampeder goes down on the play.
Calgary's number 53,
Abdullah.
Raheem Abdullah came back to make the tackle.
Good hustle at the defensive
Abdullah's
end to go all the way back there to make that play for the DN spot.
.54 seconds remaining to play in the 4th quarter. Raheem Abdullah being looked at by Pat Clayton and the Stampeders training staff.
I mean, he's just right over here. Now watch as he comes up and recognizes the play, and he just gets out there. And you might think, well, how did he know that pass was going there? That's actually a designed play by Denny Crehan the defensive coordinator to drop the end and bring the linebacker, almost switching positions. But he looks like he just got winded on the tackle.
Maybe buying the Stampeders defense a little bit of time. Abdullah was the one who started this game for the Stampeders with that big hit very early in the game on Joseph.
And I can tell you that hit that he got on Joseph early in the game was a lot harder and a lot more menacing than the one he got called for or flagged for. Well, you take a look at Abdullah's sack numbers, 6 this year. Just a force in that end spot. Tom Higgins happy to bring him over from Edmonton.
2nd and 3 Riders from the Stamps 37. Joseph fakes once and brought down. Demetrius Maxey in on the sack for the Stamps.
Well, Maxey will give you the Maximus effort on this play. Just on the top right there, and he's just going to keep working his work against Charles Thomas. A little bit of an arm bar, gets underneath the blocker. Tremendous hustle to keep chasing down the quarterback from the backside. 4th sack of the season for Demetrius.
3rd and 12, facing the Riders. Joseph completes to French, and French needed to get inside the 35-yard line, down to about the 34.
But it's only 10. It's Stampeders.
Depends where they spot this. It looks as if the Stampeders have taken over, and that'll do it with a 23-7 lead with 27 seconds remaining to play. And the Stamps will take the season series from the Riders 2-1.
And exact a small amount of revenge for being shut out offensively last week in Regina. This time they turn the tide and shut out that Saskatchewan offense for touchdowns.
Henry Burris now 4-1 against his old team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Stamps only have 27 seconds to kill. And Burris will take the knee.
Well, Steve, it makes for a very interesting matchup next Saturday with the undefeated Montreal Alouettes coming to town. And it's scary, they say they haven't played their best ball yet, and they still find ways to come back and dominate teams in that 4th quarter.
And with the win, Stampeders will go to 4-4. Saskatchewan dropped to 3-4. Edmonton in last place in the CFL West with a 2-5 record. The BC Lions in front at 5-3, coming off their win over the Eskimos last night at BC Place Stadium.
Well, you know, and it's a big game because all the talk around town was they did not want to have a 4-game losing streak. So they snapped that streak as well.
And that should do it. This one goes into the books as a Stampeders 23-7 win over the Riders as Higgins and Danny Barrett shake hands. The Stampeders snapping a 3-game losing streak, beating their longtime rivals from Regina here at McMahon Stadium on a perfect early evening for football. Stampeders win it 23-7, take the series 2-1.
A lot of Saskatchewan fans made the trip down here. They're going on unhappy because A, they hate to lose to Calgary, and B, they hate even more to lose to Henry Burris, who's with our own Gahari Jones. Gahari?
Thanks, Elliot. I'm here with winning quarterback Henry Burris. Tough game. You guys got some touchdowns early. How'd you feel about things?
Well, it felt good to come out and get off to a good start because we get off to a good start. We perform well as an offense, and had those 2 interceptions, which were disappointing. But again, in the end, we did enough to get the victory, and that's what we need to do this week.
Now looking ahead to Montreal, what are you going to need to do a little differently to win that game?
Definitely not turn the ball over. Definitely be consistent with the balance that we had today, and definitely make sure we're picking up as far as the side adjustments on their blitzes and everything. But we're going to enjoy this one. And when Montreal comes a knocking, we'll definitely be ready for those guys.
Thanks a lot, Henry. Congratulations. Yep. Back to you, Elliot.
Well, thank you, Kahar, and I haven't always agreed with the fans' choices for Warrior of the Game, but this one was absolutely correct, even though his team lost. Kerry Joseph took an enormous hit right there from Raheem Abdullah in the first offensive series of the game. He finished it. He was clearly limping as well. Sacked 3 times, hit hard several others. He is one tough SOB to come back and play after some of the licks he took today, and is clearly deserving, even though the team was beaten. Meanwhile, as we take a look, come back to the panel, Greg Frères, I don't think he's ever been so excited. I don't think the birth of his 2 children had him this excited to see Joffrey Reynolds get 3 carries in a row down at the goal line, and they scored.
Well, I just don't understand. This Calgary team has been so productive offensively, but they have